There's been a shooting in Minnesota. It was at a church school. 17 children shot. At least 2 dead at last check. And the shooter identified themselves as trans. They were a bloke pretending to be a girl. So let's watch this.
Again, believe it or not, when you actually have a gigantic swath of the population being manipulated by radical leftists on the media telling people to commit violent crimes against people that they deem subjectively as Nazis, and then they are literally hopped up on drugs as kids, changing genders or whatever kids do for fun these days because of mass psychosis, sad shit happens, and we are in
mass psychosis or just wanting to be one of the cool kids. And over the past few years, this has been what the cool kids have been up to, is taking hormones and trying to change their gender, and in the case of some, actually having certain body parts cut off of them before realizing they've made a horrible mistake and either ending their lives or detransitioning, basically trying to get a refund on a non-refundable transaction. It's one of the things I warn people about. If they ever tell me, oh, I'm in the process of, transitioning or something like that, I warn them, you damn well better make sure this is exactly what you want, because this is a non-refundable transaction. There are no take backsies on this sort of thing. What you're talking about, the pathway you're going to go down, is life-altering in the most literal and intimate sense. It's also horribly unnatural. You are attempting to fight nature itself, and you will lose every time. A man cannot become a woman, and a woman cannot become a man. And there is no such thing as all of these other so-called genders. There's only 2. There's man, and there's woman. And what you're born with, you're stuck that way. You can pump yourself full of all sorts of cancer-causing chemicals all you like. It's not going to change biology. You may as well learn to embrace who you are and learn to love who you are. Because this other pathway is just a road to madness and suffering. The illusion can only be gone when it's no longer believed.
In the world of sad shit. We really are. Horrible breaking news. Students at the Annunciation Catholic Church were packed into pews.
Annunciation Catholic School.
When the shooter began spraying through the stage.
They were in the middle of school mass.
The horrific details to the Minnesota Star Tribune. He just pepper sprayed through the stained glass windows into the building. 50 to 100 shots, the parents said, and he killed 2 kids. This is terrible. This is evil. I don't know how you defend against this. Pray. And you see these poor kids, dude.
You arm the teachers.
Of this investigation, that part of this scene, and not so much of dealing with the active shooter, because again, we have learned the active shooter is dead. But all of this aside, these children leaving the parents.
Yeah, shooter was killed. Thank God.
Horrible.
Tells us that a lot of the threat has tampered down at this point, that they're allowing people to leave this, to enter and leave this.
Horrible. So the shooter comes in. The shooter kills 2 people apparently and injures 17 more kids. Just shooting up a Catholic church, and honestly, an unbelievable tragedy. Like an actual unbelievable tragedy. Truly horrible shit. And so breaking news. This is how the story gets told.
The question was he firing one weapon? We believe he had fired all 3. He had a...
Now, don't get this deputy chief guy over here canceled, because he went by ma'am. More on that in a couple of minutes.
Rifle, a shotgun, and a pistol.
Yeah, you shoot up a Catholic school full of innocent children. I think you pretty much forfeit your right to be called by your preferred gender. You forfeit your right to your preferred pronouns. We're just going to start calling you what you were born as, and in the case of this shooter, he was born a he. So yeah, you're stuck with that. We're not going to refer to you as she, because we don't care, because you shot up a school full of innocent children. I don't give a fuck what your preferred gender pronouns are. You don't deserve that level of respect. You're a monster, and monsters don't get called by their preferred gender pronouns. Simple as.
Were the weapons, was he lawfully carrying the weapons? I don't have that information.
Probably not.
I don't have any information on any significant criminal history either. It appeared he had some black clothing on, his cargo-type pants.
So, obviously, this officer is going to be getting canceled for misgendering this individual, but, see, I'm a big fan of the Second Amendment. I do believe that the right to bear arms...
Yes, we love 2A here.
But I don't think crazy people have that right. I don't think people that are mentally ill, that are on drugs, literally drugs that are affecting your mental capacities, these people should not have the right to have weapons. They shouldn't.
Yeah, these drugs that they put people on for this to transition one way or another, they're mind altering. They fuck up your brain. You will go mad. They will make you go mad. It's the nasty little secret about all of this that for so many years we weren't allowed to talk about that sort of thing, lest we be cancelled or banned off the internet or whatever. But the times have changed, and now we actually can talk about these sorts of things.
They shouldn't. There is obviously a problem, and they should not be able to have weapons. That is my opinion. Obviously, people are going to call me transphobic, and to that I say, I don't care. I don't care.
Yeah, we don't care.
All
Fuck
right?
off.
Call me transphobic when there aren't dead kids.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, fuck off.
Turns out this
Children are dead because this one fucker here decided he wanted to shoot up a school. So no, fuck these people.
biological male transgender person. This individual over here is the killer. This person is a psychopath and is dead. The shooter, 22, biological male, transgender, posted a manifesto on YouTube. I'm not going to show you the whole manifesto because it's long and really dark and probably violent.
And it's also just sort of rambling and didn't really make much sense. And just look at the sick shit that he's putting on, magazines and on, I don't even know what that is. I guess that's a part of a rifle? Not sure. Could be wrong. Yeah, writing on magazines said for the children, and to game over the sitting president of the United States. This is your brain on shit liberty, chat. This is what happens when you get so arse-blasted with left-wing propaganda and huffing your own farts for so long that it just and doped out of your mind with drugs and chemicals to try and change your gender. Your sense of reality becomes so warped that somehow you think this is all right. And it's not all right. It's the farthest thing in the world from all right. This is what's trending in the United States, mental illness. And I think that we need to start finally having that conversation of, once again, is transgenderism a mental illness? And we need to start facing some really hard truths of, yes, it is. It used to be regarded as exactly that, a mental illness. Gender dysphoria was once regarded as a mental illness, treated with things like therapy and other types of drugs, sometimes even institutionalization, not pumping people full of hormone replacements, and God only knows what else, to where this sort of thing has started to become much more commonplace.
Violates YouTube's terms of service. But suspect who identity is known posted a video at the time of the shooting, allegedly recorded a day prior, preparing his weapons, writing on magazines sent for the children and kill Donald Trump. This is fucking psychotic shit. Like, this is actual insane shit for the children.
This is actual psychopathy that we're looking at here, chat.
Once again, it is the radical left fucking retards that are violent shits. Dude, what is going on? Bro, what is this?
Literal gay retards here that we're looking at.
Where is your God? Like, this is a complete psycho. Like, a complete and utter...
This was discovered later. That looks like a holster. It says 6 million wasn't enough. Born to shit, forced to wipe.
Psycho. Literally had an entire mapped out the chapel of this school, how to maximize killing the most children, right? Stabbing a knife into it. Like, this is insane. And by the way, this was on the internet. Where was the police? If this was on the internet and we knew that this person was an unstable fuck, why weren't we looking into this? We could send $350 billion to Ukraine. We can't have security in our schools. We can't have...
Exactly. All that money has to be earmarked for Ukraine and for Israel. We can't actually spend that money on our own people. Where do you think you live? A proper nation?
Security in our schools. We can't have people looking into publicly posted information to realize this is a mentally unhinged fuck. Literally insanity. Catholic school gunman trans named Robin Westman set to kill Trump.
I think his birth name was Robert Westman. We're not going to call him Robin Westman. And yes, that's a he. That's a dude. That's a chap. That's a bloke there. That's not a woman. It's like the Austin Powers joke. That's a man, baby. Yeah. Actually, no. That's not a man. That's an insult to men.
Magazine. Like, all the people that are doing this shit and posting this shit, this kill Donald Trump, this incitement of violence. All right, everyone's favorite journalist, Taylor Lorenz, out there posting videos like someone's got to do it regarding killing Trump. Hassan Piker, large leftist political streamer that goes out there saying kill Rick Scott. This
is the product of Hassan's rhetoric and Taylor Lorenz's rhetoric. Is you have crazies like this freak show here going out and doing what he did. This is what happens when you get arse blasted with enough left-wing propaganda. Eventually, someone gets radicalized enough to kill.
Senator of the United States. You get so many of these radical videos. Anna Kasparian of the Young Turks was on CNN yesterday saying we have to be violent against ICE officers that are coming to take our family away. Like, these are...
No, I'm fairly certain that's a criminal act, because those are cops. And being violent against the police like that when they're trying to enforce border law and get people out of here that are not supposed to be here to begin with. That's no. Just no. I think she's trying to overcompensate for the fact that she appeared on Tucker Carlson's podcast and came across as a reasonable person and got too much flack for that. She's like, okay, I'll make it up to you. I'll go over here on CNN and just be completely batshit insane again. Sorry, everyone. It's like, no, you had it right. You had it right the first time, and now you fucked it all up. Good job, Anna. Well done.
The left that are basically pushing violent propaganda, and here you have obviously mentally fucking unhinged individuals like this person who,
yes.
What are we doing? What are we fucking doing?
Absolutely unhinged.
Hopped up on drugs, to change genders. This is a very based and inclusive sticker that he has.
Something that was never going to happen. He was never going to become a woman. Not a chance in hell. Not with all of the chemicals and drugs that you could pump them. He could overdose on the bloody things, and it's still not going to make him a woman, because that's not how nature and biology works.
Defend equality. Yeah, with an assault rifle on top of a pride flag. Yeah. And defend equality, according to this person, is literally murder a bunch of Catholic children because, the media calls them Nazis, right? My favorite YouTuber called Christians Nazis. I just made a video talking about how Hassan Piker basically has been calling.
So because they are children who happen to be Christian and are in the middle of Mass, somehow, their lives are forfeit? I mean, if that's the flimsiest reasons to devalue the lives of the most innocent half of society. If you can devalue them, you can devalue anyone or anything. What a truly monstrous ideology this is. Truly and totally monstrous.
Catholics, Nazis. I made a video about that just like a week or two ago.
There is no living peacefully beside such people. There is none. Because these are the sort of people, they are stormtroopers and enforcers for the ruling class, who truly hate you and want you dead, for one reason or another. Because you're male, because you're straight, because you're white, because you're Christian, because you're just different from them, because you don't believe the same way they do. They just hate you and want you dead. There is no living peacefully side by side with someone like this. Someone like this was always going to come to violence.
My channel. Now, to prove that this is a perfectly sane individual, this is a video posted by the killer on YouTube.
Hey y'all, today I'm going to be reading the Amana electric dryer user manual. Dryer safety. Your safety and the safety of others are very important.
Wow, this is slop content of the worst variety. I mean, I grant you, I've done some reading ASMR, which, by the way, there's a new video up on that. It's up on the YouTube. Make sure that you follow my YouTube page, Lord Rexworth VT. We've got a new one for the railway cities, introducing Toby the Tram Engine. I admit, my own reading ASMR is probably not the most riveting thing in the world, but it's a damn sight more interesting than reading a washer and dryer instruction manual. This is just slop content.
We have provided many important safety messages in this manual and on your appliance. Always read and obey all safety messages.
Yeah, well, that aged well. First of all, bro's reading a fucking dryer manual, and if you look at the records, and this is horrible. All right, so this
That's
Robin
just pathetic.
person that changed his name from Robert to Robin. You will notice if you look at the actual fucking stats over here that he was 17. Order granting name change of a minor. This is a trans kid, right? You thought it was bad? You thought it was bad? Well, it's worse. This is a trans kid. All right, this is someone that came out as trans as a child who changed his name legally as a child whose mother, all right, classic, the white liberal mom once again coming in hot.
The awfuls striking again. The affluent white female liberal. The awfuls being awful. As expected.
Fucking signs off on this because
I produce better content on my YouTube and I didn't put much effort into it. Yes. Like we all have. Like somebody could just film ASMR of a shoe and that would be more riveting content. But then again, you've also got a lot of foot fetishes out there that get off on that sort of thing. But that's another topic for another time.
You know, kids can't change their names legally. Or genders. God, it's so fucking brutal. Oh my god. I'm like actually heartbroken, man. Why? Why is this a thing in society? First of all the trans kid shit needs to be like excised yesterday. Then we need to work on the whole fucking mentally ill adult category.
Children do not need to be transitioning and they do not need to be given hormones to try and change their gender. And we need to dispense with this brainwashing and arse blasting to them of, you know, there's 700 gorillion genders and it all depends on how you feel day by day. Some days you feel like a man, some days you feel like a woman, sometimes you feel like a nut, sometimes you don't. This all just needs to stop. This is mental illness. And it doesn't need to be agreed and amplified, it needs to be treated and stopped. I'm sorry, I know this is a tough pill to swallow for a lot of people. We've got people in my community that they themselves identify as transgender, or are in the process of transitioning. And I'm sorry, but it's just the hard truth. What you were born as is what you're stuck as. And you need to learn to just learn to like yourself as you are. Flaws and all. In fact, that's part of getting older and getting wiser and maturing as an adult, is just learning to accept yourself for who you really are. And it's not that you're a man born in a woman's body or a woman born in a man's body. You were never meant to walk around using dehumanizing they-them pronouns. You are who you are, and you just need to learn to accept yourself, because anything less is just living a lie. There are certain things that you can change about yourself. If you'd like to look physically better, you can go on a diet and get some exercise. If you don't like your hairstyle, you can always go get a haircut. If you're tired of wearing glasses all the time, you can get contact lenses. If you're like me, you didn't like the way that you weren't very satisfied with your speaking voice, and so you decided to work on that and develop a received pronunciation, or at least a little bit of a received pronunciation anyway, to speak in a more erudite fashion. You know, there are some things that you can work on yourself, but if you're born a man, if you're born a woman, nature has dictated that you're stuck that way. So best not to try and live a lie, and there's no sense in trying to force some sort of delusion on anyone else. People put too much thought into what they are, so much so that they destroy themselves, indeed. And that's what we're seeing, is entire generations of young people destroying themselves. Why? Because they want to be one of the cool kids? Because they just want attention? Because they're lonely? There's much easier and far more effective ways to get attention for yourself. There are far simpler and more effective ways of finding friends in this world. None of this is necessary that we're seeing here. And a lot of what we're seeing is the product of a mass formation psychosis, much like what we saw with COVID, much like what we saw in the wake of George Floyd. One series of mortal panics and mass formation psychosis after another, and too many poor fools in this world absolutely fell for the programming. Hook, line, and sinker. I would denounce them for the blithering idiots that they were if I didn't pity them so. Someone else posted today they felt like a fraud. You don't even need to consider something like that. You're thinking about yourself too hard. Yeah. Imposter syndrome is really just you being your own worst critic. And too many of us in this world are our own worst critics. On a more spiritual level, God has given you grace for every season. Jesus already bore your sins on the cross. Why don't you learn to forgive yourself and give yourself some grace? Because higher powers have already done that for you. You think you're so much smarter than they are? No. Your so-called intelligence is not even a speck in the universe compared to theirs. You think you know so much more than they do? No. Now you're just getting into arrogance and hubris. Forgive yourself. Give yourself grace. Learn to accept yourself and love yourself the way God loves you.
This situation, because it's actually fucking horrible. Anyway, it gets worse. So this Robin Westman, the suspect in the Minneapolis school shooting, is
Robert.
Robert Westman.
Let's just call him Robert Westman. He's done a horrible thing, doesn't deserve to go by preferred pronouns, even by preferred name. That's a dude right there.
Before changing his name, according to court documents, it was when he was 17. Now, 20...
Started identifying as trans when he was just 17. Why? Supposedly, he's got some Hollywood connections. Hollywood's a dying system. If you've got to be trans and non-binary in order to get work, it's not worth it to get work. Go do your own thing. 20% of Gen Z identifying as LGBT? No, not buying it. I would say the bulk of that 20% of Gen Z, they want to hang out at the cool kids table at school. That's why they're doing that. They're identifying as LGBT because the people they think are cool are also identifying as LGBT. That's considered what the cool kids do. It's not cool, it's just stupid. I don't hold myself in any regard, really. No thoughts about myself, good and bad. I get on my case for individual actions I take, though, which I think is the key. It isn't who you are, but what you do. I think that's a fairly balanced view, yeah. There's been a coordinated effort by people in power.
Coordinated effort by people in power to confuse...
Yeah. This is mass formation psychosis. This is a manufactured social movement. Primarily to depopulate the earth, but more particularly to depopulate certain segments of the middle class so that they can be replaced by a new, more permanent and more obedient underclass. 20% of Gen Z is not LGBT. They're not lesbian, they're not gay, they're not bisexual, they're not transgender. They're a bunch of dumb fucking kids who are going around trying to be cool, doing what they think is going to make them cool in the eyes of other people. And years later, they're going to look back, if they have any sort of self-reflection, and say, what the bloody hell was I thinking? Some won't have the courage to admit that. They'll just say, oh, I was going through a phase. I was going through my LGBT phase. As though it's just something you can sort of drift back and forth on, or change in and out the way you change your trousers, or the way you change your underwear. Which, if memory serves me, that's not how that's supposed to work. It's more like, if people are to be believed, it's something that you're born as. What happened to that argument? Or is that now an inconvenient argument? Is that an inconvenient part of the narrative that we're supposed to forget?
Now, first of all, yeah, a picture is worth 1,000 words, isn't it? I actually agree. I do believe that there is a coordinated effort by people in power to destroy our youth. And to be honest, we've seen the government do this in the past. Like, we've seen CIA declassified MK Ultra experiments. Like, who's to say that this isn't another example of that? Like, literally...
That more than likely, that's exactly what this is. It's not real, it's an AstroTurf movement. You think any of this stuff gets up and gets as big as it does by itself? Hell no. This is arse-blasting propaganda.
Destabilizing a generation of people. A generation of Americans. Fucked over by propaganda. What are we doing? This went viral today, so I wanted to show this. Been in class 10 minutes. We've already been talking about whiteness, gender, and how Trump is ruining the country. Why the fuck is that in school? Why the fuck is...
That doesn't belong in school. And when we win, all of that is going to be banned. And we are going back to the basics of reading, writing, and maths. and studying history. Proper history, too. Not this bullshit 1619 project nonsense where everything is the white man's fault. No, proper history.
Is that being taught? Because the entire school system is propaganda. And literally, it's getting funded by foreign governments. Like, you
If you have children, pull your kids out of public schools. They're not learning anything. Those poor children that got shot at in Minnesota were probably learning more in their school than any child in a public school.
literally look at the people funding our schools. It's China and Qatar. You don't think that it's undermining shit? Oh my god. And it's literally pushing this fucking destructive, suicidal, empathy, fucking bullshit propaganda. You can consent to be anything. As long as people consent, everything is good. And it's literally warping our children. Now, this is Jacob Frey, the mayor of Minneapolis, where this shooting actually happened. And this is what this incredibly empathetic libtard had to say.
These were Minneapolis families. These were American families. And the amount of pain that they are suffering right now is extraordinary. And don't just say this is about thoughts and prayers right now. These kids were literally praying. It was the first week of school. They were in a church.
What? Don't say thoughts of prayers, because these kids were praying and they were...
That just makes me want to say thoughts and prayers all the more, because I know it'll piss off people like Jacob Frey. Because it's good to send our thoughts and prayers to the victims who are impacted by this, but it also irks and irritates and angers satanic little devils like Jacob Frey. That's win-win. That's like a 2-for-1 special there.
Were killed anyway? Well, is that really the takeaway here, sir? Is that really the fucking takeaway? What are we doing? Don't say there's brothers or kids. Well, literally, what the fuck are you talking about? Literally.
Oh, yeah. And I think, let's see. I think I may have actually saved that. Data Republican had a good response to that. Oh, yeah. Oldie but a goodie but's from Stone Toss. I don't think I saved it. But it's from Data Republican. There we go. Where was it? I showed it on... Christ, she tweets more than I do. It showed it on screen there. Let's back up a few frames. Accepted, let's move past thoughts and prayers into rooting out sources of left-wing radicalism.
What are we doing? Don't say there's brothers or kids. Well, literally, what the fuck are you talking about? Literally, what? Don't think about praying. Anyway, this is that same guy in a mask crying over George Floyd's casket.
Are we sure he was actually crying? Or is he just putting on an act? Putting on a show for the public?
Terrifying, truly sad shit. This is incredibly moving. He was lost for words at the casket of St. Georgius Floydius. Lord Fentanyl Floyd himself passed away, and this dude was out there. It was too much. It was too...
Yes. A man who died of a fentanyl overdose gets more tears than Catholic school children shot in the middle of Mass. Really shows the priorities of the Minneapolis mayor.
But when a bunch of kids die, well, that's pretty quick to say, don't pray. Don't pray. Praying is bad. Brian Crescenstein, known libtard freak, big Hassan Piker Glazer, he is a journalist on Twitter, saying prayer becomes a problem when it takes the place of real action that could save children's lives. If that offends you, good, it should. Bro saying prayer is bad. He doesn't, however...
No. Prayer's a good thing. Damn sight better than whatever he would propose in its place, which is probably gun control. That's what these people tend to do, is take these in typical Chicago-style fashion, as Rahm Emanuel once said, never let a crisis go to waste. And we're seeing it even today, that people are using this, especially in the media, to say, we need gun control. We need firearms confiscation. We need to disarm the citizenry so that they are even more defenseless when things like this happen.
Think that there's anything wrong with this.
To which most effective strategies is to say, number one, not an appropriate time to be doing that sort of thing. And number two, our rights to self-defense are non-negotiable. We're not going to have this discussion. Period. No discussion, no debate. Not giving up my guns. Not going to happen. And you can butt all you like. Butt me no butts. I said no. But I said no. But I said no. But I said no. I said no.
System that is pumping 17-year-olds full of fucking drugs, fucking melting their brains, manipulating them, pushing propaganda on children. Nah, none of that shit is a problem, right? Let's not actually blame the shooter, all right? The shooter is woke, okay? The shooter's on the right side of history, according to your average far-left retard. No. We have to be blaming the children praying. Literally, what the fuck is going on? That the leftists are somehow on team shooter instead of on team Christian child. Bro, these are actual children. These are children, bro. What are we doing? Now, in the manifesto of the actual shooter, the shooter said, sponsored by Brandon Herrera for president. Met Brandon at a show last year. He and I had a brief convo, agreed on a lot of things. Y'all should vote for Brandon for president. Brandon Herrera, great guy, said, I will not, nor will I ever say the name of the gutless coward who decided to take the lives of the innocent people in Minneapolis today. My heart goes out to the family of those affected. But to the shooter, I have one thing to say in response. Fuck you, burn in hell.
Yeah, the only acceptable thing to say in that regard, just to the shooter, fuck you, burn in hell. That is a masterstroke, a masterclass on how to handle all of that. That brilliant execution right there. Handled very well.
Honestly based response.
Yes,
no, it's
based.
Really it's heartbreaking. It's actually heartbreaking. This meme went viral today, so I wanted to show it. Just because I think it's kind of funny, in a tragically ironic sense. This went viral today, right before this happened. Again, this is a screenshot from 2024, but it went viral again. October 7th. Right-wing extremism. I brutalize minorities regularly. Left-wing.
No, they brutalize themselves. Much of their own misery is self-inflicted.
I shoplift to get poor people some food and clothes.
No. Also a lie.
Really? Right-wing extreme. When has there ever been an instance that you could think of a right-wing guy going into school and shooting transgender people specifically, or going after one specific group? All right,
doesn't happen.
Whereas on
doesn't
the left,
happen.
You literally have violence all the time, and holy irony.
Yeah, there's a lot of left-wing violence in this country, and we really need to start having a conversation about that. We really need to start talking, and a lot of people are talking about how, gosh, sure are a lot of transgendered shooters in the past few years. Gosh, there sure are a lot of left-wing extremists that are committing acts of violence. Maybe we should do something about that.
Batman, this happened today. This literally happened today. So, of course, CNN decides to turn this into a super politicized issue about how we need stricter gun laws, and we shouldn't be giving guns out to people like rifles. Now, the craziest part is, and like, dude, I don't even know what to say. It's like, it's so sad. This all of a sudden becomes an agenda war where everyone needs to push some shit immediately.
Because that's how all these people operate. And you have to learn their tactics, and you've got to learn to use them against them. As Saul Alinsky once said, make them live up to their own standards. Do as they do. Pick a target, freeze it, polarize it, personalize it. Make them live up to their own standards. Use the panopticons that they have built as weapons against them. Disarm and infuriate with the mirror effect. You have to learn to use their own tactics against them, because that is how you win. Because ultimately, in the end, in this whole grand game of chess that's going on, that's all that matters, is winning.
The fucking brutality of it all is that they, with false information, push the idea of starting to ban guns instead of, not letting mentally ill freaks have weapons. It's more about the weapons.
A semi-automatic rifle, and it went on for several minutes.
Right, and look, that's not uncommon as well. These things can shoot dozens of bullets, in just one trigger pull, right?
What the fricklesworth, brother?
That's not how any of that works. Those types of automatic weapons are not available for public purchase. Those are available to the military and to law enforcement. but mostly just to the military. This, whoever the fuck this is, he has no idea what he's talking about. That is how it's like if you're going to argue for gun confiscation, for the forcible disarming of a population, at least get good at it. At least sound like you know what you're talking about. Because anyone with half a brain is just like, yeah, you're full of shit, dude. Fuck off.
A semi-automatic rifle that can shoot hundreds of bullets in one finger press?
That's not the definition of semi-automatic. That's not how that works. Anyone who knows anything about guns knows that is not how it works. But they're counting on people's ignorance. And yet invariably someone's going to pop out of the woodwork to say, actually, that's not how that works. And this dude up here is a fucking idiot. Not you, Nux, you're fine. You're a good man.
You're thinking of an automatic rifle, which is illegal. Oh,
yes, exactly. That would be an automatic weapon. Those are illegal. Those are not available in America for citizens to own.
God! These people are like actual fucking retards.
Yes.
Dude, what are we even doing?
This is fake and gay and retarded, what we are watching and seeing here. This is fake and gay and retarded.
Oh my God. Like, this is just wrong. It's just misinformation. Unbelievably stupid comments for CNN discussing a Minneapolis school shooting. Semi-automatic rifles can shoot dozens of bullets in one trigger pull.
No.
Literally no. Like, why do we even call these people the news? Like, why are they the news? Like, the actual joke. I don't...
Why are they? Just put the question mark right there. Why are CNN? Why are MSNBC? Just why? Please, go away, get off the air. You're not needed, you're not wanted. You're not really serving any sort of purpose. Hardly anyone's watching you. Go away. Just pack it in, turn off the transmitter, sweep out the studio, leave the key under the mat when you leave.
I don't know if this is malicious or it's just stupid, but it's to push an agenda.
And
maybe
so
both.
What happens in this case
There they
is
go.
sometimes they have enough time to...
come back to me here. Yes, Josh, you know, because you've used actual weapons of war, and...
So is everybody here.
Yeah, but you know, you've used actual, a select
You
fire?
actually, yeah, you're right. Actually, yeah, it's called an automatic weapon.
Right.
Well, you can, one trigger pull can release, I suppose, dozens.
Yeah.
Some weapons, hundreds of rounds. I don't recommend it because you'll melt your barrel.
Right.
Yeah, that also generates a lot of heat, melts down your barrel. Bad for accuracy too. Kind of hard to shoot that many bullets in rapid succession and actually hit a target that you're aiming at, because there's this little thing called recoil, which is why in most instances a lot of people prefer to use those weapons in single fire or short burst mode.
But yeah, I'm a little dumbfounded. I guess I'm still thinking about
Because it's a whole ass other gun.
Romeo and Juliet, but
Yeah.
I still don't know if it's a romantic song.
I got the wrong song is what happened, and I felt like an idiot. But no, she just said the word semi-automatic rifle or semi-automatic weapon, and then he came back with one trigger. But millions of people are going to see that.
Yeah.
And go, that's the weapon? And then these people...
These are legal? You can buy weapons at one finger pull?
across the world
Yeah,
and go, this is what
no,
America
you
is.
can't.
America allows you to pull one trigger and get dozens of rounds off.
Right. It's two idiots in a room. So just to be clear, it's not, you can't even do the Jesse Ventura, I'm just asking questions, tough guy. No.
No, they're not even asking questions. They're just trying to push an agenda, and they're not doing a very good job of it either.
You're not just asking questions. She makes a statement, a definitive statement. He undergirds it with a blatant factual inaccuracy. And I don't see her calling.
We tend to refer to those as lies, Stephen. Let's just call it what it is. It's a fucking lie.
Him on it. Can we play it again? Let's extend it just a little bit to see if she does her job, right? And this is not new to her. She's talked about covering other mass shootings and also perpetuates the lie that they're happening far more often than ever in the past. That's not true either. They happen only in the United States. That's not true either. So she should be familiar with.
But it's all propaganda. It's literally all propaganda. One lie can echo so far. Could echo to the point that hundreds of thousands of millions of people hear the lie and believe the lie. Because why would you fact check the news, right?
The term semi-automatic.
Yeah, it's the news. Surely they wouldn't lie to us. They can't put anything on the news that's not true.
If you go to any gun range, any store in this country, every single person can tell you what that is. So she makes a statement. He makes another statement that's factually incorrect. Her job would be to say, well, of course, as someone who has a lot of experience in covering these, that's not accurate.
That's what you
Let's
think.
see if she does her
That's what you
job. Let's
think.
play it again from the same starting point. I want to
Unless, of course, there's an agenda.
extend it a little bit.
Seemed like a rifle, he said, a semi-automatic rifle, and it went on for several minutes.
Right, and look, that's not uncommon as well. These things can shoot dozens
It
of
is
bullets,
uncommon, actually.
in just one trigger pull, right? And so what happens in this case is sometimes they have enough time to reload. It's one of the most horrific
Call 'em on it.
things for students.
That's all I've got.
Okay.
All of that, all what he said was wrong. Guns don't shoot.
Right.
True. People shoot.
They fire.
Yes.
Well, I mean, whatever.
person shoots.
The person shoots, right?
The automatic one.
The
Let me
person
explain
is
to you-
the
and you-
shooter.
Sorry,
No, go ahead. Go.
I was gonna say, do you think that she does know what a semi-automatic rifle is?
No.
Because she's reading.
She would
it.
have to know if she's any good at her job because she's covered other
She's
mass
covered-
shootings.
I bet
She's
you
not
think
very
she-
good at her
It's
job,
a,
though.
it's a very, very basic.
Right after the recording, the mayor decided to say this.
And I have heard about a whole lot of hate that's being directed at our trans community. Anybody who is using this as an opportunity to villainize our trans community or any other community out there has lost their sense of common humanity.
Oh, that's real rich coming from you, Jacob. After you were lambasting everyone about how they shouldn't be sending the thoughts and prayers. But oh no, we shouldn't be villainizing the trans community. Well, nobody's villainizing the trans community. That's number one. But number two, we're having ourselves some very serious conversations, and in the words of Jesse Ventura, we're just asking questions, bruv. We're asking some hard questions of, you know what? There seems to be a pretty serious mental health crisis going on within the trans community that's causing a lot of transgendered people to pick up weapons and start killing people en masse. These people have got some problems, and if we're not careful, more incidents like this are going to happen. So we are trying to have that conversation and ask those hard questions so that we can prevent things like this from happening again. And yes, some things that are on the table at this point is maybe this whole transgender movement thing was a mistake. Maybe we need to dial it back a bit. Maybe this whole LGBT thing, emphasis on the T portion, has gotten a bit out of hand to where we need to start dialing some things back. Because we've got some weirdos and some crazies out there that have murderous intent. And maybe we need to start having a good, long, hard look at those individuals that are raising those red flags so that we can prevent what happened at Annunciation Catholic School from happening anywhere else. Maybe we need to stop enabling so many people and just say, no, you're a fucking nutter and you need help. Maybe we need to make insane asylums great again. Maybe we need to start opening more of those up and putting more people in there. Because right now you've got a lot of weirdos and crazies out there roaming the streets and walking around in everyday life, and it's just a matter of time before they turn violent and more people get hurt. And of course, not all, but too many. That's the conversation we need to be having right now.
We should not be operating out of a place of hate for anyone. We should be operating from a place
You first.
of love for our kids.
Anyway,
Again,
obviously
you first.
You have a nice, cool debate over here on whether it's an honest mistake or it's not. I am inclined to say that guy made a mistake. She knew, she didn't correct him on it because it's just free propaganda at that point. Why correct anyone on it?
Of course.
So again, you get a whole mix of people. You get a whole fucking mix of people. You get your Brian Krasensteins, right? Your far leftists being like prayer is the problem. This is literally in response to the shooting, by the way.
No, prayer is not the problem. Prayer deficit. That's the problem. We need to have more people falling to their knees in prayer. We don't have enough prayer going on in this world. We don't have enough people turning to God.
This is his response to the shooting. To make this clear, okay? This is not like an old tweet. This is his response. I'll even show it to you. Brian Krasenstein. He follows me? Oh, fuck. Not for long. Okay. He literally does. He says an active, Libs at TikTok says, active shooter situation been reported and whatever, and he says prayer becomes the problem. What the fuck? Oh my god, this is brutal. Epstein files. Dude, these people are actual psychopaths. Like, actual fucking psychopaths. So you get your far
Yes.
leftists blaming the Catholics, the children that were murdered. You get your other far leftists that are actually inciting violence in America constantly. You get...
You might
doctors,
like
for whatever
Senator
reason,
Adam Schiff. No, he really would not.
pushing drugs on children that literally fucks them up. You get your average white libtard mom that's out there to sign their kid's life off for no reason because they have to be all woke and progressive with the girlfriends. And realistically, this is just another example of like radical-esque fucking violence. You have a mentally unstable person with an onslaught of guns.
That many
has literally
followers
been
and he only has
posting
3
Donald Trump onto the
subscriptions.
internet with 0 repercussions. Actual no repercussions, dude. Why not? Why was there not repercussions to an actual call to violence to kill people? I don't know. Let's ask everyone's favorite journalist. All right, let's ask everyone's favorite journalist, Taylor Lorenz. Maybe Taylor Lorenz has something to say. Taylor Lorenz. What do you have to say? You're a journalist. You work for the fucking Wall Street Journal, right? What do you have to say? Oh,
Does she
you have an
really?
entire video
That
saying
says more
someone
worse
needs to
things
do it
about Wall
regarding
Street
killing
Journal
Donald
than
Trump, which is
anything
literally
else.
Still on YouTube with over 1 million views. That was not taken down, probably not even investigated. Like, come on, dude. What are we fucking doing? All right, let's see the actual update. Let's see the news on this. Here we go.
There are no words that can capture the horror and the evil of this unspeakable act. Children are dead. There are families that have a deceased
Bro, will you
child.
listen to yourself? You sound like some fucking community theater reject. Like, who the fuck do you think you're fooling?
You cannot put into words the gravity, the tragedy, or the absolute pain of this situation.
He's right.
We are a Minneapolis family. But to everybody out there, do not think of these as just somebody else's kids. Those families are suffering
they could have been
immense
your
pain
children.
right now. Think of this as if it were your own. Every one of us needs to be wrapping our arms around these families, giving them every ounce that we can muster.
Yeah.
These were Minneapolis families. These were American families. And the amount of pain that they are suffering right now is extraordinary. And don't just say this is about thoughts and prayers right now. These kids were literally praying.
That's such a fucking bad line.
Fuck off.
That is such a bad line.
Literally
I don't even know what he
fuck
was, like,
all
doing
the
with
way
it.
off with
It's
that
not about
shit.
thoughts and prayers. What's it about? What, reject traditionalism, embrace wokeism? Like, is that kind of the message here? Like, embrace the ideology that killed these people? Like this was a pre-planned, very premeditated, radical left nutcase that went to kill Christian children because Trump is bad. Are you putting it together yet, sir?
Yeah.
Are you putting it together?
I mean, that sums it up perfectly. He was absolutely mad, so he thought he was going to shoot up a school full of children because Orange Man bad. This is what we're fucking dealing with. I mean, this fucking arsehole here wants to start talking about, oh, we shouldn't be talking about sending thoughts and prayers. Fuck you. Fuck all the way off with that shit.
Are you putting together that this is the agenda? Like, it's so fucking horrible to watch these people out there sniveling around, you know? Like, yeah, put our arms around them. Absolutely, that's super important. 100%. My hearts are going out to the victims and the victims' families and everyone involved. It's like, it's a real modern tragedy. But we don't want this to happen anymore, right? We don't want this to happen again. Something went wrong here.
It was the first week of school.
Yes. Something went horribly wrong here. Something went horribly wrong with society, as we've been talking about. But we don't want to have those serious discussions, apparently. We don't want to have those serious discussions. Or at least some circles don't. Some people would prefer that we didn't. But at some point, people are going to start talking. And many people already are.
These are kids that should be learning with their friends. They should be playing on the playground. They should be able to go to school or church in peace without the fear or risk of violence, and their parents should have the same kind of assurance.
True.
These are the sort of basic assurances that every family should have, every step of the day, regardless of where they are in our country. I'm so deeply saddened, and I'm so sorry.
It really is so horrible.
To the families that I know are suffering right now. My ask is to everyone, stand by them, love them. These families have forever been changed, and we've all been changed with them. We need to do everything possible to support them through this time. We have a family resource center that has been set up. I'm grateful for all of the law enforcement agencies, from a number of different jurisdictions, all the different departmental support that we've received. They're going to be working tirelessly. There's also a family resource center that is being set up as we speak to make sure that we're there for everybody.
It is just horrible. It's just
The families that are suffering, to those that have experienced loss, I'm so deeply sorry. We're going to be with you every step of the way. We love you. This kind of act of evil should never happen, and it happens far too often.
Yeah, we really have
On
to
that
stop
part, we
pushing
can
these
agree.
radical fucks. Huh? We really have to stop pushing fucking dangerous propaganda, don't we? It's kind of dangerous or something.
The chief will provide additional details.
So sad, dude.
My name is Brian O'Hara, Brian, O''Hara. I am the Minneapolis police chief. Earlier today,
Some of you might be wondering, why did he spell out his name? That's mostly for the television and radio crew, and for people at the local newspaper that are covering this story to make sure that they've got the people that they're quoting, that they spell their name properly. That's mostly for their benefit than anything else.
just before 8:30 a.m., our city experienced an unthinkable tragedy. Minneapolis police officers responded to a report of a shooting at a mass that was happening at the Annunciation Roman Catholic Church on the block behind me. This worship service was marking the first week of school for children that are attending the Annunciation Catholic School. During the mass, a gunman approached on the outside.
I think a lot of us have seen this stuff already, but anyways. I think we'll move on to something a little bit different. There's the video there in chat in case anybody wants to go watch it on Nuxanor's channel. Give Nux Taku a follow and a like. It's good stuff.